Let's get right into it. Number 7. How to fight back. Let's start with the good news. You can work with your brain to reduce how often these moments happen. First, verbal reinforcement works. Saying your intention out loud like, "I need to get my charger," creates a stronger memory trace. It gives your brain a verbal cue that sticks around longer in working memory. That little declaration acts like a mental sticky note. Next, mental repetition. As you move, especially when transitioning through different spaces, keep mentally repeating your task. It's like holding onto a thought with both hands. You're more likely to bring it with you into the next mental room. Then there's the trick of using visual cues. Holding an object related to your task can act as an anchor. If you're going to get your headphones, carry your phone with you. Your brain will tie those two together. And of course, limit distractions. Your brain can only hold so many thoughts at once. If you're scrolling, talking, and walking at the same time, your working memory is juggling knives. And finally, if you do forget, backtrack. Physically going back to the place where the intention began often restores the context and brings the idea flooding back. Number 6. Attention, intention, and interruption. Your ability to remember what you were doing is tightly linked to how well you're focusing. Think of your working memory as a mental whiteboard. You can jot down 1 or 2 things on it. Maybe 3 if you're lucky. But the second something else grabs your attention, a dog barks, a text pings, or your mind starts thinking about dinner, you risk wiping the board clean. Attention is the gatekeeper. If your attention is strong and undivided, your intention survives. But when your brain is multitasking or tired, even tiny interruptions can snatch that thought away. Interestingly, when you walk back to where you had the thought, it often returns. That's your brain reconnecting the dots through context. This is why intentional focus is your best defense. Know your objective. Focus your mental energy. And try not to let other things sneak in. Number 5. The doorway effect. The phenomenon where walking through a doorway causes you to forget is so well documented that psychologists gave it a name, the doorway effect. In a now famous study by Gabriel Radvansky, participants carried out memory tasks in both physical and virtual spaces. When they passed through doorways, their memory took a hit. Even though nothing physically changed, the brain marked the new room as a new event. Our minds use environmental cues to create mental boundaries. A doorway isn't just a passage, it's a reset button. Your brain essentially says, "That was one chapter, this is the next." It's efficient, your mind is compartmentalizing experiences to keep them organized. But that efficiency has a cost. When the memory you need belongs to the previous room, you can lose access to it temporarily. That's why going back through the doorway can bring it back. Number 4. Short-term memory versus working memory. To understand how and why these thoughts vanish, we need to zoom in on memory types. Short-term memory is like a tiny basket holding a few seconds of information. Working memory, on the other hand, is your brain's scratch pad. It's where active thoughts go, like what you want to eat, what you were about to do, or the name you're trying to remember. But here's the catch, your working memory can only hold a few things at once. Scientists estimate it can store 4 to 7 chunks of information. That's it. If something new enters your mind, a sound, a distraction, a random idea, it can overwrite one of the items already on the pad. That's what causes those sudden blank moments. The thing you were about to do? Gone, because the brain needed space for something else. Number 3. Your brain loves context. Human memory isn't just about data. It's about context. Your brain stores thoughts as part of a web: what room you were in, what you were doing, the lighting, the smells, even your mood. This web of context tells your brain, here's what matters right now. So when you change your environment, move to another room, switch tasks, or just glance at your phone, your brain updates the context. And if your current environment doesn't match the original one, that little thought you were holding on to may be deemed irrelevant and filed away. Your brain is essentially a librarian sorting memories into categories by room, mood, and task. And it does so whether you want it to or not. Number 2. The event boundary effect. What you experienced when you forgot what you were doing has a formal name, the event boundary effect. It describes how the human mind breaks down experiences into segments or events. Entering a new space is often interpreted by your brain as the end of one event and the beginning of another. Your memory system is optimized to store and recall events, not necessarily continuous streams. Each room, each space, gets its own chapter. So when you walk into a new room, your brain closes the current chapter and starts a new one. Your previous intention? It belonged to the last chapter. Unless you consciously carry it with you, your brain may drop it to make room for new information. Number 1. The real reason you forget. The strange and often frustrating moment where you forget what you were doing isn't a failure. It's actually a sign of an efficient brain. Your brain is built to prioritize the present. It trims distractions, closes mental tabs, and filters out information that doesn't seem relevant to the current context. This system works great most of the time. It keeps you from getting overwhelmed. But the downside? Sometimes the thing that gets filtered out is the very intention you needed. The reason you forget what you were doing is because your brain decided that action belonged to a moment that's now over. It wasn't a bug. It was a feature. And understanding that feature gives you the power to work with your brain, not against it.